Hi, how are you guys doing?
Great. Nice to see you.
Thank you so much for speaking with me today. Such an amazing movie. Thank you for getting the band back together, first off, right?
Yeah, I love that.
Our pleasure.
So tell me a little bit about starting the project when, it was first, when it was, I guess when it was time to start thinking about getting the band together. How was it for both of you?
It was exciting to have another opportunity to make another movie and to expand on the relationship of Poppy and Branch, to go to new worlds we haven't seen and to see just new parts of this. And it really, the idea originated back in Trolls One, where our producer Gina Shea, she kind of had this idea of Branch and his family tree and brothers. And it was fun just to see it kind of evolve right when we decided, okay, let's make another movie. How will we do it? What's it about?
Right.
Yeah. And once we started honing in on that idea of Branch having these brothers, this idea of like, oh, well, Poppy should have a sister too. And like, we should see how that affects her and what her point of view on that whole thing is too. I think it became this great sort of this parallel journey that she and Branch were both going on, and really kind of digging into that idea of the idea you have of family as this sort of perfect thing isn't always exactly how it plays out, but you can still find harmony within the imperfection. And that, after spending time quarantining with family or away from family, it just felt like such a rich sort of, a rich kind of idea to sort of into with these characters.
There was
Absolutely.
also one of the initial thoughts, like, okay, who could be a new villain for our movies? And we thought it'd be so funny if the villain was lip syncers. Like, oh yeah, like that's the greatest crime you could commit is lip syncing. And that evolves into again like stealing other people's talent and not doing the hard work to be famous. So it's like everything just kind of feeds into itself in a nice way.
Right. Yeah. I was gonna say, lip syncing, I don't know. Some people are in for it and they're into it now.
That's where we had to take it. We had to take it to that next level. It's not only lip syncing; they're literally stealing the talent, sucking the talent out of them.
That exactly. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Yes. 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 So I have to ask, in terms of, doing the storyboarding, Tim, and then also, Walt with, putting it together, as a director and stuff, because I am a child of I was born in the 80s, so 90s, right?
Mhm.
The music and, all, when you're putting the film together and you're saying, okay, do you let the music department just say, all right, you guys come to us with the magic and then, we feel it, is that how it works? Give me a little bit of how that works for both of you.
Yeah, I mean, and Tim and I are there right together, along with our producer Gina Shea. Like we're at
Mhm.
every department, every meeting, but it really starts with the story. It starts with
Mhm.
the story. Okay, here's our story, and we just start coming up with our own ideas. And we do have a great music team over at Universal that sends us ideas. And we're throwing in our favorite songs. We put them on there. We try them. Justin is involved really early on. So he's suggesting songs.
Okay.
We're finding places. Oh, this would be a great place for an original. So it's a really collaborative event, a collaborative experience. Am I
Oh,
Yeah,
missing a
really.
step, Tim?
No, I mean it's just very organic, it's a sort of a constantly shifting and evolving thing throughout the whole process. And as the story comes more into focus, then the song moments start to become more clear too. And we're like, oh, this definitely makes sense to have an old school medley right here, but over here it needs to be something new and exciting, so there's a lot of just sort of back and forth that happens throughout the whole process. And we should mention Joe Shirley as well. Our music producer is a big part of that discussion too, of like, oh, you know what, this medley is working, but I think I could fit in a little bit of this, like salt and pepper all of a sudden, or whatever it might be. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, that's perfect. We didn't even think about that, but it makes so much sense. So
yes. As I was sitting in the movie theater watching with a group of Girl Scouts, because I've got boys and they were like, and I was like, oh no, I'm gonna go watch it at the movies. I don't care.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there with the girls and you know, the moms and I were all on the same row and we were just like, oh my gosh, oh my God.
I love that. That's
So
the idea.
it was an amazing experience. So, you mentioned, obviously since the beginning, um, this was kind of an idea of just kind of, evolving, everyone and bringing everyone. I love how, the characters are, they're still so, everyone is still has their parts, and they might be small parts, but they're memorable.
Mm.
Um, Walt, I had to check. I was like, he was the cloud guy. He voiced
Yeah.
the cloud guy. Did he voice the cloud guy in this one too?
Yeah, yeah.
So I,
He
I
makes it,
checked and I was like,
yeah, he's back. He's back. I did King Peppy. I do a lot of voices. Like Tim and I, we do a lot of the voices even before we bring the cast in just to try it out and see how it sounds.
Mhm.
Tim was Crimp for a long time. So we're just doing the voices, playing around. And sometimes the voices stick. The voices keep the way they are. People like them. But yeah, there's there might be they might be small. There's no small part. Wait, how's it work? I don't know how it.
Yeah,
Yeah, no small.
they're all important, whatever, however they are. There was a
Well,
version, we had a
memorable.
version where Cloud Guy introed the movie, and then he was like a wasn't he like an announcer at the end of the movie too? And then
yeah.
it ended up being too much. So
His
we
whole
unfortunately,
family was on bikes. Yeah, it's like we try so many different things, Candy. We try all kinds of different things, and we'll see what sticks, what stays, what we want to try. We definitely we love Cloud Guy, of course. I love being in the movie, but we didn't want this one to be Troll's greatest hits. It's like, okay, we've seen those things, there are definitely some returning ideas. Like we love Kenan Thompson as Tiny Diamond in the last movie. We just didn't feel like we just barely tapped into that guy, who he could be and what the talent was. So it was fun to bring him back. That felt new yet familiar. So yeah.
Yes. I mean, they're all such memorable characters. And I feel like, when people say, oh, Branch is my favorite, Poppy's my favorite. And I'm like, I love Baby Diamond. I love the Cloud Guy. Like, what?
I love that.
I'm like, I love all of, like, they're just all such amazing characters. And, and I just, it blows my mind how, and it's amazing also how, you guys have worked together so long, throughout all of these films. How has that been? I mean, is it just like, hey, you ready? All right, let's do this.
Definitely, definitely. And there's no guarantee it's like that. But I think I mean, Tim and I have been friends like since Peabody and Sherman. I started working with you. So even before the Trolls movies, we worked together the whole Trolls thing. I was so excited to, have Tim next, like just us together on this movie because we're two poppies. Sometimes we bring on a Branch as a collaborator because you just need that. But this is one we're like, let's make it two poppies this time around. And it was just fun and love and collaboration throughout the whole process. It's lovely.
yeah. And we do, I think, because I've been a part of these movies since the first one in different capacities, from a story artist to head of story and now co-directing. I think I came onto this movie feeling like I have such a clear idea of what Walt's sort of expectation is, or what he envisions, and his sensibility, his tone. So it really felt like I've been being prepared for this my whole life. It felt like just a beautiful collaborative partnership that I'm really thankful that I was given the opportunity to have with you, Walt. We're gonna get really mushy
That's
and
nice.
sentimental
I
here for a
know.
second.
It's so sad to see it end. It's
Yeah,
sad when it's over. It's beautiful because we accomplished this thing and the movie's out in the world and everybody gets to share it. But sometimes it's sad to have the partnership break up for a moment. We'll see. We'll
yeah.
be back together.
We'll get the band back together.
Yeah.
Yes, please, please do. Thank you again for taking the time to speak with me. It was such a pleasure. And I have a goosebump. So I'm just like, it's wonderful.
I
Thank
love
you
that.
so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ken.
Trolls Band Together is now available on Blu-ray, DVD, digital, and 4K UHD.
Yeah, check it
Thanks
out.
so much.
Awesome. Thanks,
Bye.
Candy.